In 1943, in the dense jungles of Guadalcanal, something fundamentally changed the nature of combat in the Pacific. Veteran Japanese soldiers, accustomed to the predictable patterns of trench warfare and direct confrontations, began reporting a disturbing phenomenon: sudden and inexplicable deaths of officers and machine gun operators at distances that seemed impossible for the time. The catalyst for this change was a weapon that would forever transform combat tactics in the Pacific theater: the M1903 Springfield rifle, equipped with the Weaver 330C telescopic sight, in the hands of meticulously trained American snipers. This rifle, with its effective range of 800 meters and surgical precision, was not just a weapon, it was an instrument of psychological warfare that completely redefined the rules of military engagement. What made this combination so devastating was not only its technical capability, but also how it exploited a fundamental vulnerability in Japanese military doctrine: the reliance on rigid hierarchical formations and fixed defensive positions. When the first reports reached the Imperial High Command about ghost deaths caused by invisible rifles, few understood that they were witnessing the birth of a new era in modern warfare, where individual precision would surpass collective brute force. The M1903 Springfield, developed in 1903 and refined over 4 decades, represented the pinnacle of American precision engineering. With its robust bolt-action mechanism, 24-inch barrel, and chambered for the powerful .30-06 Springfield cartridge, this rifle already had a legendary reputation among military marksmen. However, it was the introduction of the Weaver 330C telescopic sight, with 2.5x magnification and a simple crosshair reticle, that transformed an excellent infantry weapon into an instrument of extreme precision lethality. The combination was technically impressive. The rifle weighed 4.3 kg fully loaded, had a theoretical maximum range of 5,500 meters, and in the right hands could place 5 consecutive shots within a 15-centimeter circle at 300 meters. But the cold numbers did not tell the whole story. The true power of the M1903 with a telescopic sight lay in its ability to eliminate specific and strategic targets with surgical precision, something that military doctrines of the time had not yet fully comprehended. While traditional armies focused on mass firepower, the Americans were pioneering a radically different approach: the selective and precise elimination of key enemy elements. This philosophy represented a conceptual revolution in the art of war, where a single, well-positioned shooter could cause more tactical damage than an entire infantry section. The implementation of the American sniper program in the Pacific was meticulous and revolutionary. The Marine Corps established the Sniper School at Camp Lejeune, where selected soldiers underwent 8 weeks of intensive training that combined precision shooting techniques, camouflage, observation, and survival in hostile environments. Each sniper learned not only to shoot with deadly accuracy, but also to become invisible on the battlefield, using camouflage techniques that included ghillie suits made from local vegetation and strategic positioning that exploited natural shadows and enemy blind spots. The training was brutal. Candidates had to hit coin-sized targets at 500 meters, remain motionless for hours in uncomfortable positions, and demonstrate the ability to silently infiltrate enemy territory. Only 30% of candidates completed the course successfully. Those who graduated received not only a customized M1903, individually adjusted to their physical characteristics and shooting preferences, but also specialized equipment: Bausch & Lomb 7-50 binoculars, detailed topographic maps, specially selected high-precision ammunition, and field maintenance kits. Each sniper was essentially a self-sufficient specialized warfare unit, capable of operating independently for days in enemy territory. This approach contrasted dramatically with Japanese military philosophy, which prioritized coordinated collective actions and rigid command hierarchy. The tactical impact of the M1903 snipers on the battlefield was immediate and transformative. In Bougainville, during the November 1943 operation, Sergeant John Fulcher of the 3rd Marine Reconnaissance Battalion set a record that perfectly illustrates the devastating effectiveness of this new approach. In a single 72-hour mission, he eliminated 23 Japanese soldiers, including 4 officers and 6 heavy machine gun operators, all at distances exceeding 400 meters. The most impressive aspect was not just the numbers but the surgical precision of the selected targets. Fulcher did not shoot randomly. Each shot was calculated to maximize tactical disruption. By eliminating Type 92 machine gun operators, he silenced entire defensive positions. By shooting officers identifiable by their katana swords and binoculars, he completely disorganized Japanese command structures. This tactical decapitation strategy created a cascading effect. Japanese units lost coordination, communication fragmented, and morale plummeted rapidly. American intelligence reports from the time document that Japanese positions that previously resisted massive frontal attacks for weeks began to be abandoned after just a few days of sniper activity. The efficiency was mathematically impressive. While a conventional infantry attack could cost hundreds of American casualties to capture a fortified position, a single well-positioned sniper could neutralize the same position with 0 friendly casualties. The Japanese response to the M1903 sniper threat revealed both the effectiveness of the new American tactic and the limitations of imperial military doctrine. Captured documents from the 17th Japanese Army in Guadalcanal show a dramatic evolution in combat orders. From initial instructions focused on heroic resistance to the death, to increasingly paranoid directives about invisible ghosts and long-distance demons, General Harukichi Hyakutake issued specific orders prohibiting officers from wearing distinctive insignia, binoculars, or swords in open terrain, implicitly recognizing that traditional symbols of Japanese military authority had become deadly targets. Even more revealing was the development of desperate countermeasures. Japanese soldiers began building defensive positions with multiple emergency exits, underground communication tunnel systems, and exclusively nocturnal movement routines. The Bushido Code of Conduct, which traditionally required officers to lead visibly from the front, was discreetly modified to allow command from a distance. This forced adaptation represented a fundamental erosion of traditional Japanese military principles. Ironically, by forcing the enemy to abandon their most effective tactics and rigid hierarchical structure, the M1903 snipers achieved something that massive bombings and frontal attacks had not, breaking the psychological backbone of organized Japanese resistance. The final numbers of the Pacific Campaign reveal the revolutionary magnitude of the impact of the M1903 rifles with telescopic sights. Between 1943 and 1945, approximately 200 American snipers, armed with M1903s, were responsible for more than 15,000 confirmed Japanese casualties, an average of 12.5 eliminations per sniper. More impressive than the raw numbers was the strategic quality of the targets. Post-war analyses indicate that 68% of the casualties were specialized personnel: officers, communication operators, gunners, and artillery observers. This selective bleeding of qualified personnel had a devastating multiplier effect on Japanese operational capacity. Lieutenant Colonel Roy Dunlap, in his 1945 official report on weapon effectiveness, calculated that each M1903 sniper had a tactical equivalent value to a full 12-man infantry section in terms of battlefield impact, but with a fraction of the logistical cost and 0 exposure to counterattacks. The war economy was impressive. While maintaining an infantry section in combat cost approximately $2,400 per month, a sniper cost only $180 monthly, representing a cost-benefit efficiency 13 times superior. These data fundamentally transformed American military planning for future conflicts, establishing precision snipers as permanent and essential elements of modern combat doctrine. To fully understand the revolutionary impact of the M1903 snipers, it is essential to examine a detailed technical comparison with their Japanese equivalent, the Type 97 Arisaka rifle with a telescopic sight. The Type 97 Arisaka, developed specifically for sniper functions, used a 2.5x telescopic sight similar to the American one, but the similarities ended there. The Japanese rifle weighed 1 kilo, slightly lighter than the M1903, but its accuracy was significantly inferior due to the inconsistent quality of Japanese metallurgy during the war years. While the M1903 consistently maintained 2 MOA, minutes of angle, shot groups, the Arisaka rarely achieved better than 4 MOA, effectively doubling the size of shot groups at long distances. Ammunition also represented a critical disadvantage. The 6.5 cal 50mm Arisaka cartridge, although accurate, had substantially less kinetic energy than the .30-06 Springfield, limiting both effective range and stopping power. More crucially, Japanese training philosophy differed radically from the American one. While American Marines invested 8 weeks in intensive specialized training, Japanese snipers were often regular infantry soldiers with above-average shooting skills but without the specific training in camouflage, infiltration, and psychological warfare that made the Americans so effective. This disparity in training resulted in Japanese snipers who were essentially defensive, limited to fixed positions, and incapable of conducting the aggressive hunting operations that characterized their American counterparts. The development of specific Japanese countermeasures against the M1903 snipers revealed both the desperation and ingenuity of the imperial forces. In response to the growing threat, the Japanese High Command implemented the anti-sniper program in February 1944, a desperate initiative that included the creation of specialized counter-sniper teams armed with modified Type 97 Arisaka rifles and high-power binoculars. These teams, known as Tekidan, enemy hunters, were composed of veteran soldiers selected specifically for their patience and observation skills. However, the effectiveness of these units was limited by the technical inferiority of their equipment and the reactive nature of their tactics. American intelligence documents captured in Saipan revealed detailed instructions for identifying American sniper positions through gunpowder smoke patterns, lens reflections, and disturbances in vegetation. The Japanese also developed elaborate officer camouflage techniques, including the use of enlisted uniforms and the elimination of all visible rank symbols. More drastically, they implemented distributed command systems where tactical decisions were made by sergeant committees instead of individual officers in an attempt to eliminate high-value targets. These measures, although creative, represented a tacit admission that battlefield initiative had been lost to the American snipers. The irony was palpable. The Japanese forces, traditionally aggressive and offensive, were forced to adopt defensive and paranoid postures that undermined their overall operational effectiveness. The legacy of the M1903 Springfield with a telescopic sight transcends its impressive battlefield numbers, representing a definitive milestone in the evolution of modern warfare. This combination of technological precision and specialized training established the conceptual foundations for all subsequent sniper operations, from Vietnam to contemporary conflicts in the Middle East. The fundamental lesson that emerged from the Pacific was revolutionary. In an era of mass industrial warfare, individual precision could be more decisive than collective firepower. This philosophy influenced not only the development of future armaments, but also the entire organizational structure of modern armies, which began to incorporate specialized precision units as essential tactical elements. The M1903 proved that technology, when combined with exceptional training and intelligent tactical application, could exponentially multiply the effectiveness of a single soldier. More profoundly, the M1903 sniper campaign demonstrated how seemingly simple innovations, a quality telescopic sight on an already excellent rifle, could fundamentally alter the balance of power in global conflicts. Today, when we observe the surgical precision of modern military operations, we are witnessing the direct evolution of the principles established by the M1903 snipers in the Pacific jungles over 80 years ago, where the devastating precision of a few redefined the rules of war forever.